Hello, this is my empathy critique for Carston on his public transit. Um, so let's get into it. So I really liked that Carson started with a lot of background information. He analyzed the demographics of Tampa, and he talked about how the population's growing a lot, especially in the recent years with COVID and everything happening. A lot of people are migrating to Florida from other places for the weather and for the location, all that. So the transit system is getting really backed up because of that, and because there's so many people coming, it's hard to keep up with this issue. So he kind of set the stage for the problem, and he gave it background information on it so that we could see that this is a problem that does actually need solving. He also talked about a large homeless population. He actually had statistics that said the poverty rate is um, really large for Tampa, and we have the highest homeless rate in the entire nation in the Tampa St. Pete area. So that really shows that a public transit system is really important because a lot of these people don't have a way to get around unless this transit system is there and in place. He also discussed the elderly population and how, along with people coming to Florida, a lot of elderly people are also coming here, and we have a growing and aging population. And with this growing population, they're going to need a transit system as well to help them get around because the only way for them to go around and get food and groceries and medicine, if they can't drive, would be the public transit system. So this will ultimately affect many people in our area. And with this population getting as large, the demand's just rising more and more. There was a lot talked about facts and examples that were really good. I liked your quick facts. I would say if you can add references with this, I know you stated where they're from, but if you have articles or somewhere where you got this, it would just add more credibility to that as well. I like the examples of the other cities that you talked about. There were two cities. It was Miami and Montreal, and you talked about how the Internet of Things was implemented there with their transit systems and their smart lights, and they would analyze their traffic to divert it to different routes if it gets too busy. That was a great example, and it shows that it works for different cities. All I would say for that is if you could add, or if you could find some statistics that show that it's been working there and how it's improved their transit system, I think that would help your presentation a lot. Give, like I said before, a lot more credibility and show that this is something that moving forward is going to work. All right. And then I have a few things that I thought could be improved. So during some parts of the presentation, some of the slides didn't have audio. I wasn't sure what that was from, but moving forward, if that can get fixed, I know a lot of it was cut out where it was just a screen and there was no voiceover for it. Um, and like I said before, the references would add a lot of credibility to the presentation. Or just a sources slide at the end that just shows where you got everything from. Also limiting bullet size, it just makes the presentation look a little bit more smooth, and not reading from the bullets helps keep the audience engaged. They're not reading along the whole time. They can actually listen to what you're saying, and you can speak of things as you want if you have like a sheet that you have written down that you can talk through. And then I liked a lot of the graphics that you used. In the beginning, there was a lot of charts and map layouts of the demographics of Tampa. I really liked those, but some of the later graphics didn't really add to the presentation as much. So I would just say to maybe find some more graphics that work towards improving the presentation and not just filler pictures. Moving forward, I know you talked a little bit about the solution at this point. I think we were just supposed to talk about the problem, but what you said about the solution was it was great and it's a good foundation. So I would just develop that more and work towards finding the perfect solution for Tampa. Um, as I said before, just work on that credibility for the statistics. Make sure you have those sources labeled, and then work on that audio so that they can hear the whole presentation. But other than that, it was a great presentation. I loved listening to it, and I can't wait to see the rest of it. Good job.